Hey, kid, you may have studied at many schools, but however much you've learned, I'm sure you have only just managed to get the basic essentials.
Hey guys, hey, what's up? So, I'm out here, got my sword out, it's nice out, and I thought, considering I'm trying to get my butt back in the swing of things, get back in shape, back into the shape I'm supposed to be in for the hardcore sparring stuff I want to do later on. It's time to shake the rust off, as you can see, get back in proper shape. So I thought that this would be a good time for me to record myself going through the basic drills that I tend to go through for my sword stuff. And I thought you guys would find it interesting. Now, you see me here warm up a bit, but I've actually already warmed up before I put my my phone with the camera up to record this. One of these days I should show you guys the full bits of stretching and stuff that I do, but I'm just loosening up a little bit more here. It's just some of the loosening stuff that I do, but one of these days I should do a video on that. But yeah, just fully loosening up, trying to get the crick out my neck, and we're about to go into some basic drills that I do. I just want to show off the drills that I do and why I do them and what they're for. More or less get that out of the way. So right away, I'm just loosening up. That's all. Just kind of loosening up my wrists and my arms and just getting to the point. And I'm pointing at a specific point at the door. The doorknob, which you can't see, but it's there. Trust me, it's there. So, and of course I'm doing it with my left. I'm mostly going to be doing this with my right to demonstrate to you guys, but I do this generally when I'm doing this, I do it with my left also. As you can see, my left is not as good as my right, of course, but I'm trying to get it better, see? And I'm pointing at the doorknob, which, yeah, you can't see. Never mind. It's there. Trust me, it's there. So you point at it, loosen up a little bit more, and that's going to be my little target for some of my drills later on, like my pointing drills and stabbing drills. If you're doing drills like this, you'll find a point on the wall or have a target or something to aim at as you're loosening up. Because even while you're loosening up, you still want to train yourself to aim and hit your target, because it would kind of suck if you're doing all these drills and you can't hit your target. So right now, if you notice, it's just mostly arm, because again, I'm loosening up. I'm not really engaging the body yet. I'm not going into a stance. And if you notice, I'm employing the right grip for it. Wait, you can't see the grip, can you? Okay, hold on. All right, see this? See my hand? This is generally how you grip the sword. You hold it right in the middle there, right at the wooden or plastic or whatever part of the sword you got. This one happens to be fiberglass. And you grip it like that, generally. Not too firm, not too loose. You don't want it too tight. You're not trying to go, not that, not aggressive, like, no. Just, not too tight, not too loose, right in the middle, right there, see? And I'm not holding it too high up and not too low, just no, right here. Because that way I have most versatility. And also, you notice my thumb is over my middle finger for the most part. And that's the only part that really should be like firm or tight. I mean, your thumb will move up and down a bit, but for the most part, you want your hand to be versatile so that when you're pointing, I kind of messed up there, you can't really see. But, generally, when you're pointing the sword or lifting the sword up or whatever, you want your hand to be pliable enough to be able to change all these variety of movements and, actions, but still have a firm enough grip, on the sword. And I noticed that particular grip that I'm deploying, I'm able to snap my sword, I'm able to point it, and, I don't lose, I won't lose it because it's still got, the thumb and the middle finger holding it fairly tightly, while the rest of the fingers are loose enough to adjust. So that's the grip you want to use. Okay, so now that I got that out of the way, we can get back to the drills. Okay, so again, pointing at my target and just loosening up, just loosening up and just pointing at my doorknob, and getting used to aiming the point of my sword where I want it to go. Just point, flip, point. And now I'm just I'm getting used to it. And notice my left hand, this is important, by the way. You don't want it too high. Just at about ear height. Slightly higher, if it goes slightly higher, that's fine, but you don't want to go past your head. You can also do this drill without, putting your hand behind your head. Just keep it lightly on your wrist, your two fingers on your wrist, and just snap, snap, snap forward. And you know this drill, right? I mean, we've already done a video on this drill before, varying it up. Just, pointing it at a target. We've done this, so we don't really need to go through it again. So let's go through some other drills that I do besides that one. I do that one. rotate the sword, pop. That one. Rotate, pop. See? And I step into it too. See? Rotate, pop at the target. Rotate, stab, or cut, of course. Just rotate the sword, and we're going to engage the waist in this too. Especially if you get used to that movement with it. The waist is going to do that. Even snapping the sword forward, you want to rotate that waist. Just boom, like that. See? Boom. Rotate, snap, boom. Notice the waist, and notice my head. My head, I'm not sticking it out forward all the way like that. It's a problem I notice I have sometimes when my head pokes forward. I'm trying to stop that. You don't want to do that though. You want to snap it. And you want to keep your head and your back straight. See? Boom, like that. Boom. Don't try to make your head a target. And rotate your waist while keeping your spine and straight and your head, back. And use the waist. The waist is what's giving the power when you're bringing that sword forward. See? Even in snapping the sword. And this is something, by the way, you can do with the snapping exercise also. Just rotate the waist and snap. So now we're going to go into our stance. And now that we're in our stance, we're not just loosening up anymore. Now we're actually getting in our stance. We can do our snapping exercise. Just look at this, the regular snapping drill. Keep your head back. Snap, 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 snap. Rotating that waist movement. You want that waist movement because the waist movement is what's going to give the power to the cut. Try to keep the head forward. I'm going to mess up, but here we go. So now we're going to rotate the sword. This is the second drill. Try to keep that head straight, keep the back straight, keep the head back, and boom. Just boom. Go stepping into the bow stance and just rotating the sword and cutting. Rotate the sword, cut. Rotate, cut. Rotate, cut. Rotate, cut. See? Rotate, cut. My hand was too high there. Rotate, cut. Okay. So that's basically the drill. Now again, check your form. Make sure that your hands are going there. So now you might be wondering, well, what is that motion for? I mean, that's a really big motion, isn't it? Like just that, boom. And again, I'm checking my form. You don't want it too high. You don't want it too low. Keep it there. Check yourself as you do it. But yeah, I mean, notice the motion. I mean, you're going boom, boom, boom. I mean, it's very easy to do. It's very natural to do it that way, right? But doing that motion in a real fight, doesn't that seem a little bit too big of a motion? I mean, you just boom. I mean, think about it. A real fight, you try to do that, oh, you're dead. They're gonna go with a quick stab or something. I mean, a real fight is more like you just hit the guy. You see him, or you trying to miss with me, and then you just pow, and then that's it. You win and everybody's happy. But well, except for the guy who lost. But there is a practical motion for rotating the sword that way. Think about it. You're standing there, attacks come again, and boom, you counter an attack. You're moving the opponent's blade out the way. It's like suddenly you're standing there and, oh shit, I'm being attacked. Boom. That's what the motion's for. And you use your footwork too. You're using the rotating motion to parry the blade out the way. I mean, that regular snap there, that's usually for attack, or you can just do a quick parry in that way. Everybody knows that. But sometimes there's attacks that you can just rotate your sword and then come in from a different direction. The rotating is to knock the other person's blade out the way or slide their blade out the way. And you use your footwork. See there, like that? That's the basic rotation. You parry, and then you follow through with a cut from the other side. Parry, cut. See? Parry, cut. And you can even double it up. Parry, parry, cut. And you see I'm parrying now from the right side, not just from the left side now. Rotate from the right side. You could drill that way too. Just, again, try to keep your head back. Keep your head back. Don't lean it forward. Don't bend your spine. Just... my chin's poking out there and it's really pissing me off. I need to correct that. But generally, just rotate. Rotate. And even from that side, just that rotation is what's going to parry the weapon away from your right side. And then you just follow through with the cut from the other direction. See, like that. And footwork will help to make it actually work. So, cut. But the basic drill is to train you to rotate, to do the basic rotating of the sword as you cut. See, I'm now showing it from the front. Boom. That's how it would work. See, you're parrying that way. Cut. Follow through with the cut that way. That's basically what the drill is for. It's not a wasted motion. And even from that way, the general way, boom. Footwork makes it work. Boom. It's the footwork. Without the footwork, the technique doesn't really work. So, rotate, cut. Rotate, cut. Keep your head back. Rotate, cut. Freaking chin's poking out. I gotta fix that. But rotate, cut. That's generally how the drill works. Boom. And, just, keep focusing on the target. And boom. Boom. You know, and also you can do a variation on this where you can double up with boom, boom. See, you know, rotate from both the left and right sides. Boom. Again, keep your back straight, and you know, use your stance. Boom. Now, notice also my advance. How I'm chaining the rotation. I'm trying to train the rotation with my steps. This can be a little bit tricky if you're not used to it. See, like that is one way, but that's not really the way you want to do it. You know, especially if you want to keep your right leg forward. You know, you want to, the first cut, boom, you kind of step into that, and the second cut, boom. And you want to time it. You want to time the steps with your cut. You basically, after when you finish cutting, you should be finished stepping. Okay, you don't want to like after you cut, you're still stepping, or you know, you step too late or too early, and you don't want to kind of cross either. No, it's like it's like you step in, pap, and then boom. See that? And then you reset back into your stance. That's how you want to kind of do that double rotation drill variation if you want to do it that way. And you know, also, you know how to use your weight. Like you lean forward when you attack. And also, you notice what I'm doing there? I'm also showing that you don't want to cross your legs when you're in your basic stance. Also, you want your legs free for stepping forward and even kicking. You know, make sure your stance when you're resetting in there, your feet are not fighting each other and getting in the way, because you want to be able to step like there. I step left, I step right, you know, as I'm countering. And even if I decide to step in the back leg and cross over, my feet are not in the way. See, I can freely step. And even if I switch over to this way where my left leg is forward now, my right leg is still free to step forward or even kick while I'm sword fighting. So kick. See, they're free. And yeah, there are times when you probably would want to kick in the middle of a sword fight. You know, you never know. You could, you know, let's say you're sparring with somebody or whatever, and they happen to have a high attack to the right, and boom, you know, you parry, and then the left leg was free to instantly shoot forward and catch them under the ribs. So, or in the shins even. So you never know. So, you know, keep your legs free. So there's that drill, rotating from, you know, either side, pointing at your target. And then of course we got our snapping drill, which we already went through. So what other drills can we do? Well, here's a variation of the snap and the parry. Notice what I'm doing there. Boom, boom. I lunge, and then I go into cat, and then I lunge again. That's another drill you can do, and this actually has practical applications. So again, your weight mostly back. It's a 60-40 stance. And then we're going to use that back leg to push ourselves forward into the lunge, into that thrust, see? And then you're going to kind of retreat back into cat, and then boom, you lunge again. So let's, see, I'm trying to show you the full drill, but it's kind of hard to do it from here because I don't have much space, but that's what it kind of looks like. See, boom, and I kind of retreat into cat, most of the weight in my back leg, and then hardly any weight. Let me turn to the side. Let me turn to the side here, because we got to work with what we have here so you can easily see it, right? So, okay, we got to work with what we got. So here I am, that lunge into the bow stance, bring the back leg forward, go into the cat like you're contracting into that stance, and notice the form that I'm in. And then boom. Okay, I got the wall in front of me, so I can't fully stab, but you get the idea. See? So, don't mind me looking over there. Somebody just suddenly yelled, whatever. So, into our basic stance. Right leg forward, boom, boom, boom. And yeah, you get the idea. Again, this is another drill I like to do because it's pretty practical, you know. And I'll do it straightforward. Boom, boom, boom. You see how like you just combining parrying with the thrusting forward while advancing. It's like boom, counter, boom, counter, boom. See, and check your form. Like you notice, I'm looking at my back leg, making sure that it's straight. My left arm behind me is not too high, too low. It's important to do that. And then you go into that retreating stance again. So, and now here is when I'm showing variations in the parry. Like it doesn't have to be just straight back. It can be straight back into slightly to the right or slightly to the left. And you want that. You see how quick that is? How I just quickly parried and went forward? I know in the drill it's a little bit more robotic, but in an actual fight, you want it to be that fast. Like boom, boom. You want it to be like really, really fast. You know. And you want to boom, boom, boom. And you can vary it a little bit. You can rotate that parry, you know, rotate it slightly and then quickly stab forward like that. You know, it doesn't have to be just straight back. It can be boom and like that, boom and like that. You know, sort of like the way they would do it in rapier fighting. You know, that little rotation there. You can even like wiggle a little bit and then boom. straightforward in an actual fight. But of course, with the drill, you're going to be a little bit more focused. And there's another variation, again, the rotating. And that rotating, by the way, that's another drill. That's another drill that I practice a lot, which is very useful, that little rotation thing. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a proper tool to do the drill properly, so I'm going to have to use the doorknob here. Normally, you would do this with a stick, and you would rotate around the stick. But here, I'm going to use the point to rotate around the doorknob and use the doorknob as a target. And you just clockwise rotate it around. You can also do it counterclockwise. And you engage your wrist. Don't just use your arms. Engage the wrist. This is like what they call a reeling silk motion. And I'm exaggerating it here, but that's generally what you're doing, you know. And remember that 1/3 balance point of the sword? Remember that video from way back? Well, you're engaging it here. You're using it here. Using that balance point, that's what you're rotating with. That's what you're rotating around. And then you can quickly thrust. Again, try to keep your head straight. Don't lean your head forward too much. Boom. Just boom. And you can snap with the waist to make your counter after you do that rotation. So, what's that for anyway? Why would you do that rotating in an actual fight? Well, think about it. Let's say boom, boom. You see, like you already know you could parry, you know, but you can also use it to attack the wrist, like attack the left side there. Like let's say I'm in a little fight, I lunge, I miss. Now I'm wide open. What do? Here comes an attack coming in. I can just rotate and boom. I just use the point to counter and attack your wrist as you were coming in with your counter. So, swords out, rotate, and that's rotating in a different direction to cut under and use the point of the sword to, the top part of the blade to cut underneath and then counter that way. So it's like, rotating the blade is a really, really useful tool. So we did that. Here we went through that basic snapping drill. We did, the freeing drill. We did the rotating drill. We did, that wrapping drill. But here's another one, cutting upward. This one, that one. Cutting upward is very useful in a fight. See, like you see how it's a slightly odder angle than the normal attacks? Like, straight forward, you can see that kind of coming a little bit. And that one, you can kind of, you're pretty sure you can block that. But in suddenly cutting up, it's a little weird, isn't it? Like, and then it's like, whoa, wait a second. It's kind of hard to block that, especially when you don't see it coming. It's just, and then you can quickly, after you've made that first cut, you can go in and give them the point for the kill. So how would you practice that drill, the upward cutting? This. That's the drill for it. That's it. That's all you got to do. And here it is from the side. That's the drill. That's it. Just engaging the waist and doing a figure 8 with the sword. That's it. It's that simple. Just engage your core. Keep your head straight. I got to tell myself that. Keep messing that up. And just rotate. Again, I'm looking at a point at the door, and I'm crossing where the blade is crossing into each other. I'm focusing at a single point, so I'm not just doing it haphazardly. I'm crossing it at a single point, and I'm looking at a target. Now, you don't want to do that. You don't want the sword straight up when you're doing this. Notice the structure I'm having. When my hand is up there, I want the blade to be somewhat forward. I don't want it straight up. I'm kind of slicing. I'm slicing. I'm not just cutting and chopping. I'm slicing. See? So I'm keeping the sword the point of the sword as forward as I possibly can before I have to turn it over. And that's actually useful. You don't want to do that. See this? There's no control. That's not the drill. That's just sloppy. You want to control it. See that? That's why. A nice graceful movement. So you can slice in and counter and then point again and thrust and all that. You want to, so let's say an attack's coming in. You parry this way, see? Parry that way. And then you can just, since I have the point forward, I can just suddenly counter with stabbing forward like that. You can't do that if the sword's straight up, but if I keep it forward, I can do that when I parry this way. And even from the other side, boom, instant stab to the neck or to the head or something. Quick jab to the head or neck. That's why you want to keep the blade forward when you do this drill. If it turns over, the only reason why the sword should be pointing up is if you're going to suddenly cut in the other direction, like cut underneath the arm like that. So you parry one way and then you cut the other way. See, and then you cut. Slice. Slice. Parry, slice. See, you don't want that. That's losing a little bit too control. Okay? I mean, sometimes it may happen. Like, the sword may go up, But for the most part, you want to control the turning over. You want to be able to, not have it up too much. And if it does go up, you want to quickly just bring it back the other way. You want to keep control over it. And for you should only go up when you've already pulled it back far enough. You don't want to be out like that. See that? That's bad. You want to be able to bring the sword quickly in, because if you leave yourself out like that, see here the sword's forward, so I still have a way of defending myself. I can quickly throw a sword, but if I'm out like that, boom, I'm leaving myself open to get stabbed. But if I have it forward, I can quickly, as you just saw, I recovered and was able to cut down the other way. So, try your best to keep the point forward when doing the drill. For practice, there's practical reasons for it. It's engaging the slicing motion of the sword. It's keeping the point at the enemy. And you can even use your left hand a little bit to help you with the slicing motion, to kind of guide the blade right, besides keeping the finger at your wrist. And two-handers can even do this drill. Just keep your other hand in the bottom part of the sword and do it that way. It's a very practical motion to practice and drill with. And then you can even engage this basic stance with it too, instead of just keeping your feet parallel. Same thing, use the waist and engage the waist in the rotating motion. Don't just rotate your arms. Just, and then you can even do it with the left foot forward. And that's what I do, just several rotations, back and forth, engage that slicing motion, try to keep that point forward until the very end when you have to turn it over. So, you want to keep your spine straight as much as possible when you're doing it. So, that's pretty much drills. These are the basic ones that I usually use, and these basics are pretty much what you would use in a fight anyway. I mean, you just, if you think about the motions that you would do in a basic sword fight, you'd be poking at them, you'd be thrusting at them quickly, you'd rotate, boom, cut under, rotate that way, parry that way, they're general basics, but the basics are what work. They're what you want to use, and of course, try to drill them in your left arm also, which, yeah, my left sucks, and it's painful doing it that way, but you got to, it's good to know how to use it with your left, so do your, your motions with your left arm, and try. And another cool thing about training with your left is that many times you pick up on things that you didn't pick up with your right. Like your right, you're so used to using it that you might not notice certain mistakes. But then when you rotate with your left, you might notice certain things that you didn't notice before. Like, oh, I need to do it this way. So try to train both arms. Now, the moves I did, people might see coming. Like imagine that. Oh my God, that didn't work. Rotate that way. Well, that didn't work. He countered. Okay. Oh man, he figured it out. What do we do? So you got to figure out another attack. That's a one that you haven't seen before. Huh? Tricky one. That's a tricky one, isn't it? And we got a drill for that too. It's basically you parry, parry, parry. You notice this is a drill we did already. Parry, parry, upward, parry, whoosh, low. Tricky, isn't it? See, this builds off of the last drill I just showed you. So, get into your stance, parry up, cut low, parry up, cut low. Yep, and again, not enough space, so I'll show it again. Parry, low, parry, low, parry, low. It's something that you shouldn't use too often because people will see it coming, but it's when you do use it right, it's very surprising. So you cut right there. It's you parry up and you just snap it low. Just whoosh, boom. And you're not aiming for that part of the leg. No, by the way, you're trying to go there. You're trying to cut behind the knee there, the ligament right there behind the knee, or maybe at the top of the thigh. You want to there, because that's the part that's going to make them go down. So they go down, and you just and then you just finish them off. See, because that's you're cutting the support. That's what's keeping them up. Especially if their leg is leaning forward and you cut that suddenly, they're going to go straight down. So that's the drill. Just that. Boom, and you cross the leg behind you. There's a reason for that, and I might get into that in some other video, but that's generally how the drill works. So yeah, these are the drills that basically give you the basic motions that help you in a fight. Like, the parry, stab forward, your basic parry, cut upward, cut upward the other way, rotate your sword to parry, and then quickly cut forward or stab forward. These basic drills are just, even that one. These basic drills, parry upward and cut low, these are basic motions that you would generally use when you're using a sword, you know, in the Chinese method, which some of you guys will probably recognize this with other methods too. And these are the basic stuff that I am drilling myself in all the time, especially these days, so I can get my butt back into the shape that I want to be in, so I can do crazier stuff later on to show you guys. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys got something out of it, and I'll catch you guys later.